Hello, everybody. Uh, I had an email from one of you asking me to show if there is a shortcut or some mnemonic to memorize the main angles from the unit circle. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you what my teacher showed me a very long time ago. So first, let's have a unit circle here. All right, that's good enough. Here's the center. So let's have so of course from here, this theta right here being just a zero, the main angles in quadrant one, um, zero. Ooh, what did I do? Oh, here we are, 0 degrees. The main angles in quadrant one that we need to have memorized is 30 degrees or pi over 6, 45 degrees pi over 4, and 60 degrees pi over 3. Let me start my drawing with a 45 degrees right here, and then change the color and go to 30 degrees somewhere in here, and go to 60 degrees. Let's use a different color and say somewhere in here. I know my drawing is far from perfect, but that's best I can do with my iPad. So what do I have in here is 30 degrees, 45 degrees, and 60 degrees. So the way you should try to remember this, at least in the beginning, is to put a 1, a 2, and a 3 in here, and then go back up, a 1, a 2, a 3, and then divide everything by 2. Then take square root of all the numerators. Well, square root of 1 is 1, so I'm going to leave that one alone. And square root of 3 in here, square root of 2 in here, root 2 in here, and root 3 in here. And just to be consistent with your unit circle in your textbook, and I put all the commas. Okay. So now looking at this, the first value that you see is the value of the left one is of course cosine, because that's our x value, cosine of theta. And this is the value of sine of theta, cosine, then sine. So let's look at this. Cosine of 60 degrees is 1/2. Sine of 60 degrees is square root of 3 over 2. Sorry about my handwriting. Cosine of 45 degrees is root 2 over 2. Sine of 45 degrees is also root 2 over 2. Cosine of 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 2. And finally, sine of 30 degrees is 1/2. So how can I use quadrant 1 to know the other angles in quadrant 2, 3, and 4? Okay, let's continue with this, just looking at this unit circle. So now I have, this is going to be my pi over 2 or 90 degrees. And let me put 3 angles in here, trying to match this, the colors. Okay, didn't take it. And black for here. So now the next one, the next angle is going to be 120 degrees. So 120 degrees, 135, 135, and 150 degrees. 150 degrees, so 5 didn't come, so good. Now, let's look at the 120 degrees. Notice the value of cosine is the same as the value of cosine for 60 degrees. It's mirroring that, except the value of cosine is negative. So for here, I have -1/2, comma. The value of sine is positive, so I have √3/2. Just like the 60 degrees, because I know my drawing is not perfect, but you still can see it. Look at the 135 degrees, that it just looks just like 45 degrees, but except it's under quadrant 2. So the value of cosine is negative. So now I have -√2/2, comma, sine is positive, +√2/2. Similarly, for 150 degrees, or 5 pi over 6, what do I have? It looks just like 30 degrees, except cosine is negative. So I have -√3/2, comma, 1/2. And I can just keep going. Let's do at least one more quadrant in here. Let me pick up the blue color. And then I'll pick up the black color. And I'll pick up the green color. Yeah. So of course I know right here is 180 degrees. Okay, then add another 30, I have 210 degrees, adding a 15, 225, add another 15, 240, add another 30, I am in 270 degrees. So, and notice that right here in the very beginning, for the value of sine and cosine right here for the cosine of 0 is 1, and sine of 0 is, of course, 0, the y value, 1. And so 180 degrees gives me -1, comma 0. For 210 degrees, so notice that I can look at two places. I can look at 150 degrees, or I can look at 30 degrees to know my values. Okay, I know the cosine is negative, just like 150 degrees. So I have -√3/2, and the sine is negative, so -1/2. For 225 degrees, or 5 pi over 2, it's going to be just like 135 degrees, both values negative. So -√2/2, comma, -√2/2. For 240 degrees, I have, look at this 120 degrees. So I have negative 1/2 for cosine, negative 1/2 for cosine, and sine is going to be also negative, so negative √3/2, negative √3/2. For 270 degrees, I'm running out of room in my iPad. The value of cosine is, of course, 0. The value of sine is negative 1. Now let's continue to quadrant 4. Let me pick first blue color and try to be consistent with the colors. And green for here. Yeah. Adding 30 degrees to 270, I know that this right here is 300 degrees, 315 degrees, and 330 degrees. And of course, adding 30 to that gives me 360 degrees, 1 revolution. Okay, so the values of cosine and sine for 330 degrees, I'm going to just follow the values from 60 degrees, but remembering that this time the value of sine is negative. So I'm going to have 1/2 comma negative √3/2. For 315 degrees, it's going to be just like 45 degrees. I'm going to have square root of 2/2, √2/2 for cosine that is positive, and negative √2/2 for sine that is positive. And finally, for 330 degrees, or 11 pi/6, I'm going to have for value of cosine, just like 30 degrees angle. So I'm going to have √3/2, comma, negative 1/2. So notice that I could tell all the values easily and effortlessly just by looking at quadrant 1. Well, I hope you liked this video. Thank you.